If your plan is to save cash so you can buy that rental real estate you've been eyeing and then repeat, you're already starting off on the wrong foot and you're starting small without even realizing it. But don't worry, I'm going to explain everything because in today's lesson, I'm going to show you a business stack that you can use to scale from 1 to 5 short-term rentals without draining your savings. So what I want you to do right now is go grab your pen and paper, and without further ado, let's dive in. All right, ladies and gents, business owners, whoever's, really watching this, I'm going to be breaking everything down in plain English. We're going to go over 2 main ways on how you can utilize short-term rentals. There's way more ways on how you can do this. I'm just going to show you 2 basic ways right here. Why your personal credit is also going to matter, and that funding stack step by step. Also, where to find good deals, hidden costs, you name it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to break everything down in surface level, and then after that, I want you to kind of do your homework so you can do it, and then also you can scale after that. But a quick disclaimer right here, okay? You always want to check your local short-term rental rules and talk to professionals if you need to, okay? This is just to really spark the idea in your mind, but my main thing is to get you the capital that you need so you can really start this. Now, with rental arbitrage, this is when you rent a place from an owner, okay? Then you kind of list it on short-term stays, kind of like Airbnb or Airbnb style platforms. Again, you don't own the home. You're just running a short-term rental business inside the home. Yes, people do this. You rent with permission. So let me kind of give you a surface level, breakdown and things like that. A simple example, if you will. Let's just say right now from the owner, your rent is $2,000 a month and you bring in about $3,200 from all of your guests. So you might actually keep the difference after, net profiting from the cleaning and supplies. So the difference is your profit. Now with ownership is when you buy the property and you own the home, all right? And you still run it as a short-term rental, okay? So everything is outright yours, but you still do everything on the short-term style. You can build equity over time. Equity just means that the house is just worth more later. Gotta, of course, fact check everything with that. Every house is not built the same. And part of the mortgage actually gets paid down. Arbitrage is usually it's kind of faster to start, but it can be risky if rules change or the landlord just changes their mind. Ownership, a little slower depending on the person, but stronger, okay? Stronger long-term, meaning that you still own the asset. So with that being said, now that you know the 2 lanes, the next step is understanding what banks want to see before they hand you any type of real funding when it comes to this type of business, because you really need to listen to me carefully. Now, before you click off of this video and you try to go down the street to go get a business loan or any other big funding products, we need to talk about your personal credit score. Yes, I know it's a touchy subject. Just listen to me. Because even when you're building business credit, many banks will still look at you first. It doesn't matter. A simple target is just a 700 credit score or higher, okay? This is the baseline. That doesn't mean you can't do anything below that, but please understand, just from me helping a lot of real estate investors get capital, 700 plus is always more ideal, okay? This is where approvals and limits usually get easier. So think of your personal credit score like kind of like a report card, okay? So if your report card looks strong, the bank is more likely to trust you with bigger money, okay? So basically, if you're not at a 700 yet, you want to kind of focus on the basics. Of course, pay all of your bills on time. Keep your credit card balances low. I know they tell you 30%. Try to keep it at 10% or lower. And then stop applying for too many things at once. Yes, that does hurt you. Now, once your personal credit is strong, then you're going to be ready for the funding stack. But I also want to say you want to make sure that you have, I really want to say that you have no negatives on your credit report. So that means no collections, charge-offs. It doesn't matter if you paid the charge-off or the collection, still sitting on your report, get rid of it. Have no inquiries or limited to no inquiries. And then also you want to have some type of comparable credit too. So if all the people that are watching this, if you have a personal credit card of $10,000, a $10,000 limit, $15,000 limit, you're golden. For the people that don't, you want to try to work on this, okay? You want to try to increase these credit limits, maybe apply for another personal credit card, because having comparable credit is really going to help you in today's funding, journey. So understand that. If you don't know how to do it, click the link below to sign up for a capital consultation so I can definitely help you with that, okay? Quick break. I hope that you're enjoying the video, but this could change your business forever. If you're a business owner that's trying to scale, I got some free gifts for you. First up, we have our credit bootcamp. Video trainings where I personally walk you through how to access up to $150,000 in capital, step by step. No fluff, don't worry about it, and straight game. I usually reserve some of the information that I gave you here just for my private clients. And I'm also adding more. Plus, I'm dropping a free inquiry removal kit, okay? This is the exact system that you can use to delete hard inquiries in 48 hours flat. It's all 100% free. The only thing that's gonna cost you is your email. That's it. Or you can click the link below to sign up for our free capital consultation where I can help you gain up to $300,000 in capital. So again, click the link below and grab it now. But enough about that, let's get back to the video. Now, let's go ahead and go into section 3, which is the funding stack, okay? So here's the stack in order. First, we're gonna talk about business credit cards, and then we're gonna talk about business lines of credit, and then business loans, okay? Kinda in that order, all right, depending on how I feel. We go in this order because it's kind of like leveling up to a different level every single time. You build proof with smaller tools first, okay? Then you qualify for the bigger tools. So we're gonna call this part right here part A, which is business credit cards. Now, when it comes to business credit cards, if you have your personal credit in order and your business entity is set up properly, you know, business credit cards are pretty sweet to get. They're the best things like for getting furniture, supplies, deposits, and also setup costs. They also help build your business credit profile because they're showing that you can borrow and pay back responsibly. Kind of like how you do on the personal side, same thing on the business side, okay? Now, all of them are not created equal, but just understand to make sure you pay it off on time and pay the minimum balances, whatever you do. And with that being said, I just want to give you a good bank that you can utilize on the business side, and that is Key Bank, okay? It's a small bank, but Key Bank has business credit cards that offer 0% APR for the first 6 billing cycles. That's 6 months, ladies and gents. So that's 0% for purchases and balance transfers. The offer does require purchases within the first 60 days into the real deal so you can apply. So always read the details before applying for anything, all right? Just because you hear me say it, I still want you to fact check everything I say because all of this is in the making of the video. Anything can change over time. You can look at it now. I don't know when you're gonna watch this video, and you can look at it now. It might be 5 months, it might be 9 months, it might be 12 months. So always fact check everything I say and anybody else that gives you information. So in real life, this means that you can furnish a unit and have a short window of not paying any interest, aka investing in a strategic manner. Okay, so this only works if you have a payoff plan. Don't just get the credit card, start swiping away, and you're like, you know what? I forgot about paying. Let me try to figure this out. So with that being said, this is a simple rule. Never swipe a card hoping that the money is going to show up later. You're a business owner, remember? So you gotta make sure that you factor in and organize stuff, okay? Swipe because you already know how you're gonna pay it back, no matter what. The second rule I just wanna tell you is don't max out your cards starting out, okay? High balances can still hurt your scores with the lenders. I understand it's on the business side, but you still want to make sure that you're in these good graces with these business owners because too much can sometimes seem overwhelming and then you can start messing up. And the messing up comes with late payments, okay? So you want to make sure that you're utilizing all these cards in the correct manner and then you're going forward from there, whether it's Key Bank or any other bank that you use moving forward. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and go into part B, which is business lines of credit. Now, with business lines of credit, business line of credit is like money you can use, pay back, and then you can use it again, all right? So it's kind of like a refillable bucket. I always call it the hybrid between a credit card and a loan. This matters because real life happens, okay? We all know this. A fridge breaks, slow month units, city inspection shows up. I'm just throwing stuff out there. You know, a line of credit can help you cover surprises without draining, you know, any type of savings you have. So if you have a savings of $50, $100, even $20,000, you don't want to mess all that up. So in general, you know, banks want to see when it comes to this decent credit. And by decent credit, 700 credit score. Also, when it comes to that, this is like a different level. So they do want some type of business, and they also want to see that you personally are responsible on the personal side, okay? Especially for repayments. Because the stronger your history is, the better your chances are of approval. Some of them do require some type of tax returns or sometimes extra documents. So this is why I always want you to start at A, which are the cards, and then business lines of credit. All right, in this aspect, we're going to be talking about part C, which are the business loans. Okay, so we're going to be talking about, I guess we could talk about like Chase and Wells Fargo, just for the basics. Now with business loans, these are long-term powerhouses. They can help you buy properties, renovate, make bigger moves, and it's tangible money in your account. Okay, but they come with way more rules because the bank is taking a way bigger risk. So here's a quick requirement to understand. Chase states that certain business financing options typically require a business to be at least 2 years old and under the same majority ownership for 2 years. And I know a lot of you are probably wondering like, oh, I got that. That's easy. I've already done that. I'm good. I'm not bringing nobody on. But you also got to understand, Chase also indicates that you should be ready with recent business and personal tax returns when applying for business loans. Okay. Wells Fargo, pretty much no different. They offer small business lending to, options as well. They do. They're a little more lenient than Chase, but just hear me out. For the products like the lines of credit and the loans, they commonly describe requirements like a typical 680 FICO score and at least 6 months in business. I know I said 680. The 680 to qualify, 700 or better to get approved. Always remember that. Plus, you are going to have the personal guarantee either Wells Fargo or Chase. The biggest takeaways with that is if you only want like lines of credit and loans, you usually need proof, okay? Now, proof often looks like time in business, again, tax returns, and way more documents to be exact. That's why kind of stacking funding in the right order is always the best thing for you. That's why stacking funding in the right order specifically for your needs is always going to be key. You might have to do credit card stacking. Then you can do lines of credit. Then you can do loans. Don't jump the gun just because you don't want to, just kind of wait and weigh out your options and strategize. Again, you want to be a business owner, right? This is what it takes. Now, I know I said I was going to give you some type of tools and stuff like that. So always understand that, basically here you go. For short-term rental research tools, you always want to check areas that you can actually perform in. You can use tools like AirDNA. I think it's MashVisor, I think if I'm not mistaken, and they can actually help estimate the occupancy, nightly rates, and then also using, market value data using AI and things like that. It is pretty much spot on from what all of my real estate investors on the short-term rental side have been using. Okay, so that's pretty much what you can use. So with that being said, you can look for places where people have a reason to visit, like hospital, colleges, weddings, venues, stadiums, beaches, national parks, business districts, big night events. You always want to look for places like that. Don't look at nowhere where people don't want to go. You don't want to go over here. Don't nobody go to Alabama. Don't do it unless you actually know. So you want to make sure, again, that you're organized and you know what you're going to be doing on paper before you swipe any type of credit cards, use any type of lines of credit, and use any business loans, okay? So you want to make sure that you measure twice and cut once. That's what's actively going to help you. If you know, you know. So again, if you use all the information correctly, like I stated, utilizing business credit card stacking, loans, lines of credit, you can be able to get $50, $75, even $100,000 in business capital. And then you'll be able to really, really utilize getting 1, 3, 5, even 10 short-term rentals. And now you look up and your portfolio is well diverse. And now you're bringing in monthly revenue, monthly income. And now, your all your equity is up, you're taking it out and you're refinancing and you're just going within the real estate game. And that's what you want to do because that's how you're going to build your wealth. But it all starts with your personal credit, right sequences, and getting the right business products. Now, I know a lot of you want to do this and you're having issues. What I want you to do if you are and you want some type of guidance to get that $100,000 in business capital, click the link below right now to schedule a capital consultation with us. Me and my team is going to help you strategically for your needs, get the right banks in place, get the right sequence, make sure you have that Cinderella profile, as I like to call it, so you can get the capital that you need so you can start scaling your short-term business, all right? So what I want you to do again is click the link below so we can get you started. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I hope that this actually makes sense, and I hope you really scale your short-term rentals so you can diversify your profile and start building wealth. Again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and until next time, ladies and gents.